Hey, welcome to Butcher Bay Rejects. I'm Mark.
I'm Greg. What's up, nerds?
How you doing this week, bud?
Pretty good, pretty good. We saw a couple of movies there. We're gonna cover Dune, and of course, Army of Thieves, prequel to Army of the Dead by Zack Snyder, and we'll get into some trailers that came out. So let's jump into Frank Herbert's Dune. I never read the books, but unfortunately, I saw the '80s movie, which
I never read the books either, and I saw the movie once.
Yeah, the movie was horrible. I mean, but the effects weren't there. But it was also David Lynch, and Lynch is Lynch. You know, you have to have a certain taste for Lynch. I don't, but
especially at that time.
Yeah, and the effects weren't there. So, right away, we could see this visually stunning movie that Denis Villeneuve, director of, Blade Runner 2049, lastly. And I would say, yes, visually stunning. I'm sure you thought the same. He foregoed any color whatsoever and just concentrated on the bleak beauty of the desert, the planet Arrakis. And basically, it's a simple story of feudal nobles waging war over Arrakis, which has this spice which they use for interstellar travel. And I didn't think I would like it, but in the end, it actually won me over because this is a movie with no ending. If you think about it, so people saying, "Why am I going to go to a movie with no ending?" Right?
Well, I agree with you. It was a very muted kind of thing, and I kind of to me, for what they were showing, it was about an hour too long. You could have told that story.
Yeah, it did not
within
have,
an hour and a half.
Yeah, it did not have to be more than slightly over 2.5 hours. No, that's the only drawback I think to it.
I understand from many sources, one of which we know well. There was a lot more detail in the books and so on and so forth. And okay, fine, I get it, but the caveat shouldn't be you have to read the book in order to understand the movie. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You could say the same about Game of Thrones. There's millions of people that never read the books, but you could still enjoy the show, right? I mean,
yeah. So for me, there was a lot. How many times is this guy? Can you show this guy has a vision of the girl? It just every time you see he just kind of he's trailing off. So for me, there was those. As far as, okay, you have your book and it's got a lot of information on it, but when you're telling a visual story, you do kind of want to move it along. For me, I found there was a lot happening behind the scenes that we didn't see until the event actually happened, and then you got to catch up. I don't know if you felt the same way.
Yeah, what I really did like, though, and I'd rather see them get their own movie, is the whole, the spiritual order of those witches, the Bene Gesserit. I mean, I thought that whole, helicopter, where they're bringing out, Paul and his mom to die in the desert, and I thought that whole thing where, these witches can control people with their voices, I thought that was really interesting. I'd rather see a whole movie just on that order, that, secret order of the Bene Gesserit, because that was awesome,
Well, that's just it. We got a little hint of what they can do in the beginning, but it was never really explained, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're kind of okay, this guy's got powers, and use the voice. Use the voice. Okay, well, order. All right, so it's a bit of a telepathic kind of thing, and I'm kind of okay, this is interesting. But then something else will happen that we never really understood what was going to happen. Boom, knocks this out of sync, and then you're kind of well, where'd that come from? How come that happened? And then we find out afterwards, there was a lot going on behind the scenes before that came. Especially when they got attacked on Arrakis. Okay, we got a glimpse of those soldiers being hired, but then we cut to the attack. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's a little bit.
There's a lot you don't know. It's the Empire that sent the Atreides family there, sent them there basically to their death. So they wanted the Harkonnen, played by Stellan Skarsgård, to align with the Empire's guards. So those two forces, were attacking House Atreides. But
from what I found out afterwards, the Empire thought the House Atreides was getting a little bit too full of themselves
Well,
and needed to be taught a lesson.
powerful, and powerful, and had influence. So he was worried about being taken over one day. His reign ended, so he decided to quell it, nip it in the bud.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't get a hint of that until and I mean some characters just feel like they got so underutilized. Like Jason Momoa's character.
Well, he got some gruff after the movie premiered because of his name. Now, I kind of agree. Like, I think Frank Herbert dropped the ball there because they gave him the name of Duncan, Idaho, and people were on Twitter were like, "What was Frank Nebraska already taken?" Because you have a movie with names like Duke Leto Atreides, Gurney Halleck, Stilgar, Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, then you have Duncan, Idaho. So I kind of agree that he dropped the ball on that name. If it's so out of place,
Oh, for sure. But even still, like this is supposed to be like a warrior supreme. He spent time with the natives, and he's and then the Fremen. Yeah, exactly. And we see him in 3 scenes, maybe.
Yeah, basically.
And then the last one he dies. It's like.
Yeah, rather heroically.
Very heroically, but the thing is, it's still like, for someone like him who, you figure the character could last. Or if you're going to put someone in there playing that character, make him a red shirt. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He's tossing. Don't put Jason Momoa in that. I mean, we barely saw Dave Bautista. Now, from what I understand, that character's role increases in part 2, but
which they didn't. Like I said, this movie had no ending, so they were hoping in a pandemic to get enough box office to get the sequel. Good news, there will be a sequel, so it made enough money, I guess.
Yeah. But at least have a little closure by the end. You know what I mean? Like
and the whole every vision and every trailer of this movie had Zendaya featured. I'm like, 2 hours go by and she's still not in the movie. I'm like, what the so we were kind of
she was in the visions, tricked. But she wasn't in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're kind of tricked because obviously she'll play a bigger part in the second movie, but not many people knew that, including me. Like I felt kind of robbed because I love Zendaya, so I'm like, oh man.
Oh yeah, for sure. So there's a it's a good story that's being told. Well, yeah, it's being told for an audience of one. Denis Villeneuve said, "I made this movie for one person, me."
Well, did you also notice for a sci-fi movie, there's not a single computer in the whole movie? Which in the books, I know that if you read the books, I didn't, but I know centuries before the events that happened, there was a revolt and all the computers were destroyed. But when you look at those fabulous, and I love those Dragonfly helicopters, I don't know what they're called. That's what I'm calling them.
Yeah.
I thought those were outstanding, but you have to wonder how the heck is a machine flying like that and doesn't have a computer? You know what I mean? Or they're big starships or whatever you want to call them.
Well, yeah. I mean, for all this,
it doesn't make sense. And the first battle scene, I don't know about you, it was in pitch black. I couldn't see much. That's the biggest, I just hate when there's a massive, big budget fight scene and you shoot it in the dark. I can't handle that.
Yeah, you saw people when there was explosions, and that was pretty much it. Like
yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, okay, he made it to his vision, and this is what he wanted for this and all that. Okay, fine. But you could have been a little bit more concise. I mean, even some voiceover would have given some scope to what was going on.
Yeah.
Like you said, the no use of computers. They could have kind of drummed over that in the beginning. Interstellar flight is done with the spice and not with technology.
Well, but even their force fields that they activate, you can't tell me that's not computer generated somehow. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you know what
let's not. I mean, I hate to dump on someone, but I mean, I'm sure Timothée Chalamet is a good actor, and I know billions of women are lusting after him. But I don't know. I felt Kyle MacLachlan pulled it off better in the first Dune. I just. I've watched a lot of Timothée Chalamet movies, and I just don't see it. So it's probably just me who doesn't see it. But I thought he was too wispy for this type of role. You know what I mean? Except for maybe the Vision dream sequence he has where he's coming out of the sand. He's got the gold armor and the blue eyes. Okay, that looked good, but I'm only going to see that in the second movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I having not remembered really the first movie and
well, it was forgettable.
Yeah, so for me, I'm just basing my opinion on what I've seen in this of how that character should be. And I mean, it impressed me a little bit, his fighting prowess. You know, when he was practicing with
Josh
Gurney
Brolin
and Josh Brolin, yeah, that was really, really cool.
Well,
I kind of like the concept of personal force fields, so you can use real weapons.
That effect. Oh my god, dude! In the first movie was horrible. It was pixelated. Okay, but literally blocks like you were playing Tetris. So obviously,
really?
Thank God that thing evolved. Oh yeah, that was the hardest part of the movie. And Patrick Stewart was Gurney in the first movie. So
okay,
you're this Shakespearean actor, and then they of course added the special effects after. It just didn't look good.
And then when he was fighting the Furman at the end, you knew that even after like the first parry, they scuffle. You knew he was like, okay, you're outclassed. Don't do this.
Well, I think he kind of used the vision too that he had, right? What he knew where the movie was going to put on him. So
yeah, but I still think that he was well trained enough. He was inexperienced to have killed a man, so that that's where his doubts were. But his reflexes and everything were right on.
Well,
par.
yeah, that's why we had that establishing shot of Gurney, and he's like, "I'm not. What do you mean not into it? You're not feeling it? Well, the enemy's not going to give you a day off."
No, exactly. So
that was to set that up, just like it was in Gladiator, where we had that brief scene of Joaquin Phoenix's character, surrounding himself with 5 guys, and he was fighting them all with his swords. That was just to set up later that he kind of knows what he's doing with a sword. Was that type of scene? But overall, did you like it or no? I did. Despite everything, I still liked it.
I'm going to stay neutral on this one. It's
okay.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
But it didn't wow me to a point of, oh my god, when's the next one coming out?
Yeah.
It really much just kind of like everything was so even paced, and then all of a sudden you get something happens, and you're sitting there, you're spending the whole scene trying to figure out why this is happening. Then you're on to the next scene, and it's just like, it just wasn't enough to get fully invested in these characters. But there is something there. Maybe if you watch it as a whole, it'll work. But I think what they should have done was maybe gone a little bit further. One, condense the movie a little bit. If you're going to keep it at 2 hours, go a little bit further into the story so that we have some sort of bookend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's move on to a movie I'm sure you liked even less, Army of Thieves. Like I said, I preferred Army of the Dead, but if this movie did not have the gorgeous Nathalie Emmanuel, who played Missandei on Game of Thrones, I probably would have stopped watching it. Like she's the one that kept me there. Otherwise, I didn't. I think we've seen everything before in a heist movie.
And she's also Ramsey in The Fast and the Furious.
Yes, exactly. But she'll always be Missandei to me. But relative cast of unknowns, except for our buddy Matthias Schweighöfer, who played Ludwig Dieter in the first Zack Snyder movie. But I didn't. I wouldn't watch this again. I don't know about you.
Actually, I liked it better than Army of Darkness.
Oh, I know, because there were no zombies in it, or less zombies, I should say.
I thought this was a better movie. Honestly, I thought this was a better movie.
I know, because you don't like zombies, though, right?
No, I thought actually the structure was better, even though Army of Darkness, like I said before, for Army of Darkness, they had me for the first hour,
no,
and then it
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead, sorry. And then it devolved into a typical zombie movie. Whereas this one had a lot more character to it. You got to get invested in the characters a lot more, and you got to see it through the end, and you got to see Ludwig's evolution. So for me, this was a much better movie.
Not me. I only like the one scene, and I'm sure you appreciate it too, when we see a young Brad Cage get bullied, and then he's watching, I guess it was Con Air, and he Nicolas Cage is doing pull-ups, and then
Brad Cage.
That was funny because you never see that in a movie, really. So that's the only scene
No.
I liked.
No. But and like I said, throughout we're here listening to him talk about the safe crackings and everything and you're watching this character evolve into something much more confident than when he started. And I like that. It's a sort of, I guess you could say, like a Rocky kind of thing. He's the underdog, right? So for me, I kind of liked it. I liked the pacing. I like it moved very well. And for me, this one I'd watch again. This one I'd sit there and go, yeah, this isn't too bad.
Well, they kind of the end credit scene. They kind of wrap it up with the appearance by Dave Bautista there. Obviously, shows us how he got to Vegas.
They bridged it, and it was nice.
Yeah. And of course, he had a vision or a dream about his death, and that came true. The way he died in the first movie, it was in a vault, right?
Although there are rumors he survived.
Yeah. There's most likely gonna be. I mean, Zack Snyder's got the story idea, and there are rumblings I'm hearing there'll probably be a sequel to it. So yeah, I could.
But like I said, I liked this. I liked the character, and I liked the way they played him. So. And you fell for him, like when Brad tossed him out of the truck, right?
Yeah.
You felt for him. You're like, no, and then you're seeing him running and getting away and trying to get back, but you could tell he was hurt, and it was like you felt for the kid. And
was he saying? Was it gasp? No, or what's
gulp.
That word he kept saying? Oh yeah, gulp.
Did you say gulp?
Gulp.
Yes, I said gulp.
Gulp.
But no, yeah, and her sacrificing herself for him at the end.
Well, he directed the movie too. I don't know if you know. Like he
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was Ludwig, but he also directed it too. So he pulling double duty in this movie.
Yeah. And I like the touch at the end in that scene where it's Gwendolyn's locksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no, like I said, this for me this had a lot more. This had a lot more than Army of the Dead. It had a lot more heart. It had a lot more just story versus what they had. Like Army of Dead, they could have gone a whole different direction with that, and it would have been, in my opinion, a much better movie. And we discussed this before, like when they find out they've been turned, or they've been swindled, they go at it for themselves and they get out. To me, that would have made a better movie. But hey, I'm not Zack Snyder, and I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars for the movie.
Well, I'll tell you what I liked more than Dune, more than Army of Thieves combined, was a little piddly 2.5 minute trailer for Morbius. They finally gave us the whole Morbius trailer. Michael Keaton's in it, like boom, boom. A lot of mind blown moments. The effects are great. The look they captured, just right out of the comics. Him flying in the subway tunnel. Oh man, it was hitting all the feels for me. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Now, do you think that Michael Keaton scene is at the end?
Yeah, that has to be. Yeah, but I'm surprised. But they also gave us a little Spider-Man poster there on the wall. Either they're teasing the heck of us, and there's going to be no payout, or there really is.
Well, it was like at the end of the second Spider-Man. Who was Michael Keaton talking to in jail?
That was Scorpion.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think it's like one of those at the end. Hey, Dr. Mike. Keep in touch.
And even a Venom joke they throw in there.
Oh,
who are you? I'm Venom. Just kidding.
I don't know. I'm Dr. Mike.
Yeah, no, probably the best. Let's look at it. We've been waiting 2 years for this damn movie. Please don't delay it again. Like I'll go to the
No,
theater to watch it.
I think Jared Leto's going to just knock this out of the park.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan of his Joker, and I think this is going to supersede that.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I'm a big Jared Leto. He goes for it. He goes all in every movie now. So.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. I'm hoping that we didn't see all the best scenes in the trailer.
No. They kept some back.
But this is definitely going to be. I mean, it's going to surpass Venom, for sure, in the way it's told, because I think I think Morbius. Well, a Morbius story can be told without Spider-Man being in it.
Yes.
Unlike a Venom story, really needs to start with Spider-Man and then.
No, but it would be nice
evolve.
to have a Sony verse. Like, there's no reason they couldn't have put Spider-Man in the last two Venom movies. You own the rights. You can do whatever you want. So I get kind of irked when you have your Marvel verse. Now you have a Sony verse. So hello.
Oh, they didn't. They didn't play with all their toys.
No.
I
hope they're leading up to something where we get some big crossover movie. Something. You have the rights.
Nice.
They're not going to relinquish them. So unless Disney gives Sony an offer they can't refuse for the whole company. But short of that, they're your
well, we didn't think they would
now.
do it with Fox, and they did. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Congress would let them do that to Disney, because, well, speaking of, they famously bought Lucasfilm. So getting to that, we got a trailer we weren't expecting. No one saw it coming. The Book of Boba Fett, which is coming out December 29th. They just laid it on us last week, and we were like, we weren't ready.
Oh yeah, no, this came out of nowhere.
There's so many. I had to read. I don't like reading trailer breakdowns, but I kind of recognize some of the creatures, if you will. And man, they referenced the New Hope. They had the creatures there from Return of the Jedi. Like, oh man, people who collect action figures are going to be hurting in their wallets when when Hasbro starts making these things.
Oh God, yeah.
But yeah, and that was just the first trailer. It didn't show us much, but we weren't expecting it, and man, can't wait for this.
Well,
show.
it was enough. It was enough to Boba Fett kind of going all. No, I want to hear your ideas.
Yeah.
Hey, you just thinking there's a gun pointed at them underneath the table or something like that, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there's definitely, I mean, I think he's going to be like an anti-hero, he's going to save the day by ruling all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he probably won't be as ruthless as Jabba the Hutt was, I'm guessing.
No, but he's probably going to be, I guess you could say, keener or more clever.
Yeah.
Where Java was always very, brute force, he's going to be, they're not going to see him coming. I think that's where they're going to.
He's got Fennec Shand as his right hand man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we know Ming Na is going to just knock that out of the park.
Yeah. And something else happened there was probably music to your ears. We talked about it on this podcast. So Starz finally greenlit season 2 of Heels. So good on you, Starz. You made the right call. There's lots of story there. And,
well, you know what? Like I said, I think in season 1 they were finding their feet, and they kind of they got their traction going. They finished strong. So now it's just like, oh wow, like this is just going to open up. It's just going to get better.
And they promoted 2 of the actors to regulars. Who's the black guy that defected over to Rooster? Yeah, Rooster, and the guy that Bobby, what's his name? Bobby Pinn? Yeah, those 2 are now series regulars.
Cool. Well, we saw Rooster playing much bigger role in the finale, being evil, playing for the other side.
Yeah.
So he really. He went. I think at the time we called him Dark Nate on that one by, exposing all the little, I guess you could say, weaknesses and trying to go after that. But oh man, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. I think this is going to be a good series. This could be one of those series you really, really get invested in the characters. You really want to see them do their thing, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
Especially the way it ended. It's like, yeah.
Well, yeah, when the news came out, Stefan Amell posted or tweeted, I want my belt back. And that's how we knew they were.
That.
Yeah.
I saw that. That was great.
And let's go move over to some gaming news. A little Fortnite. We don't play.
Well, hang on. We saw a trailer today, which looks kind of fun.
Oh, I was going to mention that after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to jump.
Carry on to the Fortnite.
Yeah, none of us played League of Legends, but a big legend in League of Legends came to Fortnite, Jinx, which is a pretty, cool looking skin. I'm sure if I played, I'm happy that the Resident Evil characters came, but if you're a big League of Legends guys, people were going frothing at the mouth for this thing. So Jinx is now in the game, and what recently made news is the first player. Well, so they say. I'm going to run something by you. You tell me what you think. The first player to reach 1,000, which if you don't play Fortnite, it doesn't matter. 1,000 is, put it this way: you can't work, you can't go to school. You'd have to play Fortnite 8 hours a day for months on end to reach 1,000. Okay. Now I'm at level 300, but what do you think about? This kid has a YouTube channel that did it, but I'm sure it is possible that someone came close that just doesn't want the notoriety or fame. What do you agree? Like someone could have gotten close to 1,000. Now this season's different because when you play with your friends, their challenges become yours, so it's very, very easy to level up, right? Like I'm already at 300, which I usually get to 298 when the season ends, but still, to get to 1,000. But I'm wondering if anyone even got close, but just didn't say anything. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's funny was when I saw that 1,000 thing. I just recently watched a YouTube video on Fortnite cheats.
Well, that's what everyone said. Like he sent a screenshot to the site I follow, and everyone chimed in. It's fake, it's fake, it's fake. And then another photo, and then the guy showed his YouTube channel where he documented it all. So then suddenly people are like, okay, it's real.
Well, the thing is like I saw the thing, and there was a 1,000 level up in that cheating video, the biggest cheats and who they were and who they went up against and so on and so forth. And so I don't know, like I agree with you. You'd have to be playing night and day to get to and like redo every challenge over and over and over and
not
over.
Only that,
nothing but nothing but challenges.
And finding 3 other people that don't have jobs and don't go to school either, because that's
doing this solo would be just hell.
Which he has a squad, but I'm saying now you've got to get 3 other people to play as much as you do. Yee! So anyway, that's there. Getting back to that trailer you're talking about, which came out with America's favorite bro, Neil Patrick Harris, 8-Bit Christmas. That's going to come out on HBO Max, so I hope we're going to check it out, Mark, because it's basically everything you love about Christmas and Nintendo. When the Nintendo console came out, every kid had to have it. It's got the killer soundtrack. I hope there's a lot of 80s music in it.
Well, I mean, I was a big Nintendo fan back in the day, and like me and my buddy we'd play Mario Brothers like forever. Almost to a point like his dad also played with us, and every time we screw up, he'd like, Borsier Jr. move. Shout out to Big John.
But even the side stuff, like, I don't know, did you notice the scenes where they were playing King of the Hill with that older teenager guy? I mean, I remember playing that as a kid with always a guy who was older than knocking the crap out of us off the hill, but we still charged.
Oh, yeah. No, everything about it was great. I mean, even Neil Patrick Harris, narrating this is perfect as well.
Yeah, he plays the young boy, and but of course we all wore helmets in the 80s, wink wink.
Yeah.
We were told to play we were told to play in the streets. What are you talking about, helmets? If we did, the helmet wore us, because of what we were doing.
I mean, come on, who didn't go down the steepest hill on their 10 speed on an off-road path, with the thin tires, hitting every bump, and like wore nothing but a shirt and a shirt and shorts. You know, like no pads, no nothing. You just went right down, and if you fell off, you rubbed some dirt on whatever hurt, and you got back up and went up and at it again.
Exactly. Yeah. Pretty much. That's how it was.
Like I remember one time, and I mean, I don't know how I didn't break my bike. I had this CCM yellow 10-speed, and where I grew up in Point Claire, there was a part of terracotta, this part where it used to be, I think, if I remember correctly, it used to be like a quarry, and a lot of kids that had dirt bikes would go racing around there, and they created all kinds of paths, right? And there was like pits that, you know, you go down one side and jump the other. I was doing that on a 10-speed. Like, I don't know how I didn't break the tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you go up 10 feet in the air, you land, and it's like, I'm still going.
Well, this movie is very reminiscent of, you know, my second favorite Christmas movie, A Christmas Story, where all he wants is a Red Ryder shotgun. So in this case, this is the modern version where, you know, it's the Nintendo console, right? And this was also filmed in Toronto, much like A Christmas Story was too. Mm. So yeah, I think we'll have to check that out. I think it's November 24th. I think the release date.
Something like that. Yeah. No, it looks good. I mean, this is going to be a good month. We got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah, so it's and December too.
Yeah, so this is just. I mean, I watched that trailer and I just smiled from every aspect of showing it. You know.
Yeah.
From the, like you said, the music, the environments, everything. It's just like, oh yes, home.
Yes, sir.
No. It was great.
Well, that's all the news I got. I don't know about you.
That's it.
If you got anything, I covered.
No, that's pretty much all the news I was excited about. I'm sure we're missing a few things, and they'll pop up. And as soon as we stop recording, we forgot. But there's always next
I got
week.
it. I got it all. No, I got it all. I was pretty thorough.
Well, there you go. All right.
Sir.
Well, fans, you can find us on our social media. We are on Twitter with the handle @BayRejects, on Facebook @ButcherBayRejects, and our website butcherbayrejects.com. And you can find us on all the podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. For Butcher Bay Rejects, I've been Mark.
I'm Greg. See you next week, nerds.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.